Hey everybody, we are back at the Anaheim Convention Center where it has been 3 years since the last WonderCon. We are so excited to be back. We're so excited to be doing this visual guide. If you followed along with us in the past, you know we do our visual guides for lots of things, particularly though San Diego Comic-Con and WonderCon are two of the more popular ones usually. And so the season's here. We're shooting this video later than normal, but that's because information's coming out later than normal as well. I think it's really important as we set into this video and look at what information we have as we record this today. Is just a year ago today, you know, Disneyland across the street wasn't open. Outside of it had just started doing some tasting events. Theme parks in general were closed. We weren't even allowed to eat outdoors at fast food as of like a month ago, 13 months ago. So a lot has changed in 12 months. This event seemed like an impossibility this time in 21. So one thing I think is just want to pack our patience as we look at everything with WonderCon 2022. Comic-Con International, so grateful that they're putting together this show. So grateful that we're going to be able to have this show. I know there's just about nothing in the world that I'm more excited about right now than coming out to this show. But that does mean there's going to be some changes this year. We'll talk a little bit about those changes as we go. This area was hit hard. The Hilton, the Marriott, local businesses on the streets all have been hit hard. So we'll talk about some of those changes to expect in terms of maybe some of the food options and things like that. So with that said, let's get to it. All right, so as of this recording, tickets are still available. I do suggest buying them in advance. For those that bought them a while back, you probably had them shipped out and already in your hands unless you're like press or picking them up. For us, as press passes, we're picking up in Hall D. It hasn't been said yet we're picking up for attendees that are coming like day of or buying it, after that shipping deadline, but we're guessing it's Hall E. That's where it was in the past. Make sure to understand this time around, there are, of course, COVID restrictions in place. They are asking, or they are requiring, I should say, masks of everybody. And then on top of that, you either need to show proof of vaccination or you have to have let's say it's 48 hours for a PCR test and 24 hours for an antigen test. So make sure to plan accordingly with all of those things as well. Also, it's a little unclear right now when the badge pickup times are. They do say badge resolution desk will be open as of 12 noon on Thursday preceding 12 to 7, and then it picks back up again 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. So we guess that badge pickup will be something similar to that as well for those that need to do it. Important change this year, no RFID, so no tapping in, tapping out, whether you liked it, didn't like it, either way it's not there. Probably to save a little bit of money this time around if we had to guess. I'm guessing it will return in WonderCon's future, but this time we'll take it off. Big thing to note though there, if you lose your badge, it is full cost to replace it, so make sure to hold on to that thing. Do not lose it. Costume check, they have increased from 3 checkpoints to 4 for those cosplay weapons and things like that to get peace bonded and all of that. The 4 locations, they've got the Grand Plaza outside, inside Hall D near registration, Lobby BC, and the lobby of the new North Building, or newish North Building at this time. It's been around for a little bit, all things considered. And then something just to consider in terms of staying near, and if you're going to look at hotels, I know rooms have still been available in the surrounding areas, part of the on-peak bookings and also outside of on-peak, so depending if you want to go through that. Parking traditionally has been pretty rough in the WonderCon area when you consider that you have the Anaheim Convention Center bringing in all those people, but you also have Disneyland. There's a good and bad to having Disneyland right next door, and parking can be pretty problematic. You do have the Toy Story parking lot, which is an option. Parking here at the Anaheim Convention Center, although it's not yet on the WonderCon site in terms of parking price, it is just $16 normally for convention regular price, which is a lot better, honestly, than a lot of places, and definitely cheaper than what it is to park even at Toy Story and the Disney stuff, which is up to $30 now. So something to consider there as well. As we noted earlier, there has been a lot of changes in the general area of Anaheim. I mean, this was a really bleak area during the closure of Disneyland for all that time. So a lot of businesses went away. We're going to take you inside real quick to the Hilton and then the Marriott just to get a little bit of a feel for what's available right now in terms of food, drink. Obviously, it's always a great place to escape and charge phones and things like that. But like for us, for example, we've always loved stopping in at Submarina for about $20. We could have lunch there, drink, and it was kind of a convention tradition for us, the Anaheim Convention Center. It's long gone, closed out. They've substituted in some kind of generic food offerings that the hotel has, which is fine, but we found them to be, in general, pretty pricey and not quite as good as what the old offerings were. But there are still some things there. We do imagine that there'll be food trucks here. There have been food trucks out for some of the other conventions in recent months, so I'd imagine for WonderCon you can count on that as well. That said, let's head on into the hill. All right, right across from the convention center, we've got the food court. And at current, it's reduced to 3 spots. And this has been on the weekends even, that it's pretty limited. So you've got your Crave Pizza, Coastal Mexican Kitchen, and then the deli at 777. So salads, wraps, surf and turf, grilled fish tacos, roast beef, turkey sandwiches down here, and then pizzas and pastas over here. And most running around the $20 price point for like a lunch, let's say, with a soda. All right, so they still got this old gift shop, if you remember, lots of Disney merch and all that sort of stuff. And then Starbucks remains, so the pandemic did not steal away Starbucks, despite how long the hotel was closed. So that's there. Remember, there will be very long lines in those mornings and afternoons, but they do move pretty decent considering how long they are. All the seating back, and there are lots of outlets here, so if looking for a break, they do have some grab-and-go food in the souvenir shops across the way, too, if you want to just have kind of a little sandwich, chips, things like that. And then we've got our bar area over here with, again, ample seating and the bar. And then we have Mix is the restaurant option, but as you can see here, I mean, this is a weekday, but they open again for breakfast. So everything, as with most of the world, is subject to change and staffing limitations and all of that. All right, we're gonna make our way across the plaza here now and head over to the Marriott. Check what they have going on. All right, so over in the Marriott, lots of area to sit. Got the bar and kitchen for Infuse. That has remained through the pandemic despite the closures. Slice is the pizza offering over here. It's one of the custom crafted ones, so $15.99 you get to customize the pizza that you want. Then we've got the market with our Starbucks over here as well. Some grab and go options, and then our Starbucks. Again, ample seating here as well. Over in the market, you've got your breakfast sandwiches as well as burritos, chicken, carnitas, mahi-mahi, carne asada, plant-based vegetarian, $15. And on the other side of the market, again, more seating, just like the old days, more spots to charge your phone and just kind of hang out. All right, let's get back to the convention center proper and talk a little bit about the floor. So as of the recording of this, the exhibit hall map has not been released. Once it is released, we're going to do a specific video just detailed on the floor, talk about strategy, things like that. We are going to talk about the Funko booth because they've released their information, and we'll do that in the next segment here. A couple things about just conventions in general on the floors. We have seen in the last, 20 shows? I think we've covered about 20 shows since the reopening of things last summer. And what we have found is a lot of kind of clearing out of older stuff, a lot of good deals, but also we've seen the collectible market really explode during the pandemic. So even though we're finding good deals, a lot of times they're good deals based on new pricing, not based on 2019 pricing. So if you've been out of the collecting game at all, or you're coming out for the first time to kind of do some shopping, be prepared that just like milk and everything else in the world, prices have gone up. So plan accordingly as you're looking at doing your shopping there. One thing about WonderCon consistently over the years, though, it's not a cheap show to vend at in terms of getting a table. It's not like a lot of the one-day shows we go to, which are much cheaper tables. So here you always expect the items to be a little bit pricier. We don't normally see a lot of Sunday sales. So normally speaking at conventions, we say, you might want to hold off till Sunday to see if you see some price drops. And that's still always a good tip in general. If you see something that you're kind of wavering on, you're going to be here for 3 days, maybe check it out on Sunday. But at the same time, we've not seen big Sunday drops, and we don't anticipate seeing it here since the markets have gone so wild in so many ways. So make sure to find your favorite vendors that are there, find your Toddlands of the world and check them out, get the Bob's Burgers merch, things of that nature, and just have a good time soaking up what is available at this con. All right, we've made our way over to Hall B. That is where Freddy's Beach Bash will be. This is the Funko booth at WonderCon. That is going to be the primary destination for a lot of fans that are coming out. We know that you can expect in those earlier morning times of lineup, it's probably going to be primarily people here shopping for Funko. Doesn't mean Bandai may not have lines or things of that nature, but we know Funko is going to be a big one. So Funko is going to have wristbands with time slots every morning. They are going to be short in supply, and we don't know how short, we don't know how available, we don't know how many people are showing up, obviously, at WonderCon, and so plan accordingly there. It's tough to know exactly when to line up, but this is again where I think social media comes in big, particularly Twitter. Twitter is where all the information moves, and you can do quick searches there. I know you can tweet us, and we'll be retweeting things and stuff like that and kind of keep people in the loop. So the lineup's going to happen in the Grand Plaza area, where there's going to be the programming / exclusives line. People can get there early. They're going to be let into the lobby through Hall B, is what they've stated, at 10:30 on Friday and 8:45 on Saturday and Sunday. So it's going to be way before, I shouldn't say way before, but before the rest of the hall opens. After receiving wristbands, attendees can then proceed to Hall A, where Funko staff will direct them into line shoots for participation at the Funko booth. Very important, they're only accepting attendee and professional badges, so no press passes, volunteers, or any of those, according to their statement. 1 wristband per person per day, and the wristband is for a chance to participate in games and purchase items at the Funko booth. So we don't know fully if they're going to use, like at special edition, they use the Cube of Deciding. They may have some other thing. They could bring iPads out. You know, we've seen Lego do that, but I would imagine they're going to use the same thing that they did at special edition. So if you're familiar with that, I guess that's the plan there. But we'll see. Again, Friday morning as that information is coming out, obviously we'll be sharing it all across the board. People will be sharing that information, so you can stay tuned there. All right, so lots of great programming coming to WonderCon. Honestly, it's a lot more programming of interest, at least to us, I think, than we had originally anticipated. You know, this is a spring con coming out of major shutdowns, particularly here in California, and so they didn't know really what to expect. There's some really good stuff coming. The arena is not going to be part of the plans this time around. So if you have checked out the arena in the past, I know that's been a favorite spot for us in the past. It's not one that we're going to have this time around. The North 200 is going to be 2 of the main buildings that we'll count on. 2 of the main rooms. North 200A and North 200B are going to have some of the larger type panels. They have been in use in the past at WonderCon. We think they seat around somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500. It's not specific on the Anaheim Convention Center website, but they're decent-sized rooms there. We did do, a couple quick plugs. One, we did a breakdown of some of the panels we're most looking forward to. You can find that on our YouTube channel there, or our podcast feed for audio only. Also, the SCCC unofficial blog, the masters of all of the unofficial information, let's say, for Comic-Con and for WonderCon. They are doing a podcast dedicated just to those rooms as well, and the whole panel schedule, so check them out. One thing to note, the North 200s, there is this bridge across, so you can cross from inside or you can go outside, or at least that's how it normally works. So you have a couple of options there as it comes to accessing that building. Obviously, there'll be lots of signage there. As with all things convention, we always suggest asking questions maybe 3 times of volunteers when you're trying to find things, and make sure staff, make sure you're going to the right place when it's really important. Meaning you just want to make sure you get the right information, and with these shows, so much can change all the time. You want to get that information correct. There are a few panels that Comic-Con International has shifted over in their descriptions that they are virtual, meaning that they are like what we are imagining pre-recorded. We know that's the case, at least with Fear the Walking Dead, that it's a pre-recorded panel that they're going to show there. But the ones that I include in that are Big Sky, Fear the Walking Dead, Tom Swift, Shudder's Cursed Films, and then Making Magic in Legendary YA Worlds and Beyond. So plan accordingly. I mean, there's still obviously a lot of value just being gathered with fans and celebrating that way, but obviously it isn't the same as having the talent on stage. It's going to be kind of a different vibe there, so you want to kind of plan out whether or not that's going to be worth it to you in terms of your time allocation. Obviously at conventions, time is the biggest currency there is, and so you want to make sure to maximize your WonderCon weekend, and it may or may not be with those panels. Remember one last thing, Comic-Con International shows, at least traditionally, they do not clear rooms in between. So you always want to know that people may be getting in there a couple hours before sometimes for those big panels and waiting in there. All right, for our last stop in this video, we've made our way out near Catella. There are options in the area for food, drinks, supplies, things like that. I mean, down at the corner of Catella and Harbor, you've got a CVS that's walking distance there. Even not too far behind us, back towards the Clarion and down a few blocks, you've got a Target there as well. Of course, you have Downtown Disney as an option. One thing I want to point out, a lot has changed at Downtown Disney since the last WonderCon. So if your only way of kind of accessing Downtown Disney traditionally has been WonderCon, you'll want to take some time to look at the website. I would really suggest getting the Disneyland app. We did a full deep dive video for our Patreon subscribers, so if you are interested in that, you can subscribe for as little as $5 and be able to have access to, it's like a 25-minute guide of all the changes over there to Downtown Disney and stuff. But really make sure you get that Disneyland app and you can take a look there at all of the different offerings. Make sure you're clear on the security policies, things of that nature. But there is a lot within walking distance. It's one of the nice things about the Anaheim Convention Center is there's a lot of things that are obtainable with not too far of a walk, although it's still a decent walk. You know, it's not like it's right there the way something like the Gas Lamp, let's say, is for San Diego Comic-Con. It is a bit more distance than that. Besides that, we want to suggest, again, follow along on social media. We will have more videos coming on the YouTube channel here, but also lots of things in real time via social media. Also follow along with our friends at the SDCC unofficial blog, SD_comic_con. There's going to be so much in the way of updates throughout the entirety of the con. I know we're going to be out here a lot next week as the convention is ramping up, as signage is going up, people are moving in, and just all the information that's coming out, we'll be sharing as much as we can in real time from there and Downtown Disney and just all the surrounding areas. So please follow along with us. If you haven't already, please like this video. Those likes let people know that you like our stuff and let people be able to find us. So with that being said, we're going to wrap up here. Until next time, we'll see you in line at WonderCon.